Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're investigating a mystery that is literally playing out right beneath our feet. If you live or maybe manage property in a beautiful, established, tree-lined area like Glencoe, you've probably noticed a pretty frustrating trend lately. Drains and indoor plumbing are just struggling. And they're doing it way sooner and way more frequently than they used to. So we're looking at the data from local plumbing pros to find out exactly why.
You know the drill, right? You're standing at the sink, brushing your teeth, or maybe taking a shower, and you look down to see the water just pooling. It's not draining. Or, no way, worse, it's coming back up. Ugh, it's incredibly frustrating. And the thing is, in Glencoe, this isn't just an isolated bit of bad luck. It's genuinely becoming a localized phenomenon. Residents, property managers, they're all reporting a massive uptick in these slow drains and backups, which really begs the question, are we doing something wrong, or is there something way more systemic happening underground?
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap. We'll cover the clog mystery, aging pipes and layouts, tree roots, hard water and scale, preventative habits, and finally, professional diagnostics. Let's start with suspect number 1, aging pipes and layouts. So we're basically looking at how the simple passage of time, mixed with the specific geometry of how buildings are built, completely conspires against clear, free-flowing plumbing. In a lot of these older, established communities, the biggest culprit is honestly just aging infrastructure. Over the decades, pipes do not stay like perfectly smooth, slippery little tubes. They actually develop incredibly rough interior surfaces from years of corrosion. Imagine the inside of a pipe turning from smooth glass into, well, coarse sandpaper. And this roughness, it acts as a microscopic trap. Every single time water flows through, debris that should absolutely glide right by gets snagged on that rough surface. Slowly but surely, it narrows the actual path the water has to flow through. But you know, architecture plays a massive role here too. It's not just the age, it's the layout. Certain building designs actively work against gravity and momentum. If your home happens to have longer drain runs, a lot of bends and twists in the plumbing, or sections with a really low slope, well, you've got built-in catch points. Material that would easily flush right through a modern, steep, direct system just ends up getting trapped in these architectural bottlenecks.
Moving on to suspect number 2, tree roots underground.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we shift from a mechanical problem to a totally biological one. Nature is relentlessly determined. Trees and large shrubs are constantly seeking moisture, right? Especially during dry spells. And guess what happens to be a fantastic, constant source of underground moisture? Yep, your pipes. Even a microscopic crack in an older pipe puts out enough vapor to attract roots. Once they find that tiny access point, they just push their way right in. They grow inside the line, effectively creating a living, expanding net right in the middle of your plumbing system. And let's be real for a second about what that net is actually catching. It is not pretty. As those roots grow, they snag absolutely everything coming down the pipe. We're talking waste, hair, grease, basically all the things you literally never want to see again. The roots themselves might only block a tiny portion of the pipe at first, but because they act as a catch point for all this other gross debris, they rapidly accelerate the formation of a massive, impenetrable clog. It's this biological roadblock that just gets worse every single day the tree continues to grow. Which brings us to suspect number 3, hard water and scale. This is our final and totally invisible culprit. In areas like Glencoe, the specific water chemistry can actually speed up how fast clogs form. See, hard water contains really high levels of dissolved minerals, mainly calcium. As this water moves through your pipes, especially in those lower slope sections we talked about where the flow slows down, it leaves these minerals behind. Think of it exactly like cholesterol building up inside a human artery. Layer by layer, year after year, these hard mineral deposits calcify on the walls of the pipe, literally shrinking the physical space available for water to pass through.
So the takeaway here is that mineral scale is a total double threat. Not only does it physically reduce the capacity of the pipe by shrinking its diameter, but those calcium deposits are super chalky and rough. They create the perfect sticky surface where hair, grease, and soap scum can just grab on. It's a massive compounding effect. The scale is basically sending out VIP invitations to all the other culprits we just talked about, getting them to join forces and cause a complete blockage.
All right, let's look at solutions. First up, the mitigation plan, daily habits. Now that we actually know what's happening down there, Let's talk about what you can do about it. Because while pipe age and trees matter, professionals constantly emphasize that your day-to-day habits heavily dictate how often you'll experience clogs. You can actually stop this buildup process in its tracks by following 3 super simple steps. Step 1, never ever pour grease down your drains. Seriously, it goes in as a liquid but solidifies into a brick underground. Step 2, be incredibly mindful of what goes into your garbage disposal and toilets. Minimize putting fibrous foods down there, like celery or potato peels, and absolutely never put non-flushable items down the toilet. Even if the package claims they're flushable, just don't do it. And step 3, use those cheap little mesh strainers in your tubs and showers to catch hair before it ever has a chance to enter the system. It is a total game changer. And finally, the mitigation plan, professional diagnostics.
Of course, sometimes our daily habits just aren't enough to fight the underground battle. When you're dealing with plumbing that's decades old or super aggressive tree roots, you eventually reach a turning point where a slow drain escalates into a repeat backup. And if you find yourself getting repeated clogs in the exact same drain, you have to change your strategy. Relying on repeated clearing attempts, pouring chemical cleaners down the sink or plunging it for the 100th time, is literally just treating a symptom. It might poke a tiny little hole in the clog to let water drain for today, but the root cause is totally still there. Instead, the pros strongly recommend a camera inspection. Sending a tiny video camera down the line takes all the guesswork right out of the equation. It shows you exactly whether the problem is localized to just that one bathroom sink, if it's a huge main line issue, or if you have a massive structural problem underground, like a collapsed pipe or heavy root intrusion.
I want to anchor this with a quote directly from the professionals who diagnose these exact issues every single day. Frequent clogs are usually not random. When your plumbing fails over and over, it is definitely not just bad luck. As we've uncovered in this explainer, it's the result of highly methodical, compounding processes. Your pipes age, those underground roots invading the lines, and that chalky mineral scale buildup, they are all working together to reduce your flow over time. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Take a quick look around your own home. What hidden factors are slowing down your flow right now? Is it that old plumbing run with way too many bends? Is it a beautiful, massive old tree out in the front yard just looking for a drink? Or is it maybe just a bad habit of pouring last night's cooking oil right down the kitchen sink? By understanding the science and the structure of what's happening underground, you can protect your pipes and keep things flowing smoothly. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep asking questions about the world around you.